Hello, I'm Jason Harrelson with Harrelson Trumpets, and today I'm going to answer a question that I got off the internet. The question is there a real noticeable difference in sound spectrum between a bell that is 4 7/8 inches in diameter and one that is 5 inches or larger? Bell tapers are all different. If you measure the inside diameter of a bell at any given point, then of course they get bigger, but they all get bigger at a different rate. So the rate at which they get larger determines a lot of the sound spectrum, or what we call the overtone series. If I measure the sound of this instrument with a spectrum analyzer, then you will see something different on this bell than on one that has a slower taper, which means that it's not as big until the end. So we have a lot of variety in bells. The lead pipe, the person who's playing, the mouthpiece, all of those things also contribute to the sound spectrum. But in general, if all things are equal and you just change the bell, then the faster the bell opens, or in other words, as it gets bigger sooner, then the broader the overtone series. It does not mean you won't have brights in your sound. It simply means you'll have more of the lows. You could still have all the same brights. Okay, so I'll measure two different bells on horns, and then I will play both of them for you. I highly doubt you're going to hear a huge difference on this little flip video recorder. However, the number 7 bell in my lineup is usually between 5 1/4 and 5 3/8 inches. So it's larger than the others in terms of diameter at the end. If you listen to the high definition recordings that we have on our website of that bell, you should definitely hear the sound spread to the edges of the room more. And that's typically the answer to this question, is that the wider you make the very end of the diameter of the bell, the more the sound projects off to the sides. It creates almost like a frayed vocal type sound, like not a clean vocal sound, but one that has a little raspiness in it. That tends to be preferred by a lot of players because we want to have character in our sound. Can you play clear on a number 7 bell? Yes, definitely you can. Alright, so I'm going to measure two different bells for you. The first one is on the Satchmo horn, which is this trumpet. And here we are at 5 3/8 inches, which is 5.375 inches. Okay, and I will play this horn with the same mouthpiece on both. I'll play the same example. So there's your first example. The next example is a bravura. And this one measures at, it's a different bell, 4 7/8 inches. Alright, so we'll play this one. And 4 7/8 would be 4.875. So immediately behind the bell, in this small live room, I hear that this sound is more focused and it doesn't spread out or fill the room as much as the other horn. Now they're not the same horn, there are other differences, but just in terms of the bell diameter, that's what's happening. This one fills the room more. That is primarily what you're going to find the difference between the small and large bells. Is there a big difference between a 4 7/8 and a 5.0? Not really. But in general, the larger you go, the more the sound will spread and fill the room. The more you'll get lower overtones. You'll still get the brights. And the smaller the bell, the more focused or laser beam like it would be. I hope that answers your question.